Hi guys, it's Tim from Advanced In-Car Technologies here, and we've got another unboxing and quick review for you. Well, I say quick, hopefully it shouldn't take more than around 30 to 40 minutes. So make sure you've got a cup of tea and let's get straight into it. So Thinkware, they've been around for quite a while in the Asian markets in terms of dash cams and camera protection, but they've not been so heard over here in the UK or the EU, but now they're starting to branch out a bit more, and they've actually sent us a camera to, well, they sent us a couple of cameras to go over, review, to see what we think, and to also hopefully get some sold. So Thinkware F750 is their top of the range, most premium dash camera. Its biggest upsell is that it's got full HD 30 frames per second at both the front and the rear of the camera. Now most dual cameras are normally full HD at the front and then it drops down to maybe 720 at the rear. So this one is boasting some pretty decent technology. Now if you've seen Thinkware before, the camera looks like its older F550 little brother, and I'm got to admit I'm pretty excited about this because there hasn't been that much of a game changer in the market in terms of dash cams. Blackview have been doing the same old thing. Yes, they brought out a bigger screened camera, but nothing really that much to get excited about. So let's just quickly take a look. Thinkware DashCam F750, and let's just try and focus on here. So it's won the Product Design Award, the Intelligence Design Excellent Award, and the Red Dot Award 2014. So that's always a good start. And the biggest thing for me is that it actually won the CES show in Vegas Innovation Award for this year, which is an awesome achievement for any company, but for a dash cam to get that, that's even better. So let's see what we've got. So we've got some not English information here. It's included with a 32GB card, and it's got a couple of extra features that are pretty awesome. So it's got a road safety warning. So this is LDWS and FCWS, which is lane departure warning and front collision warning, so that it's really bringing a couple of systems together to make the ultimate sort of safety package for your car. And it's also got safety camera alerts that you can download from the website straight into your camera. So as you're driving along, it will beep when it sees fixed, well, when it knows that it's coming against fixed cameras or mobile hotspots or something like that. So it's a really all-in-one system. So as I said, full HD 1080p at 30 frames per second front and rear. Really excited about that. It's got this new dual save backup, so not only can it take up to a 64GB memory card, but it's also dual recording into its internal memory. Now I think from memory it's got about 512 megabytes inside, so it's going to be consistently recording the last few minutes of the footage, so that in case there is anything wrong with the camera, then at least you've got that backup, and I think that's pretty decent. Using the Sony Exmor CMOS sensors, that if you know your dash cams or cameras, that's a really decent sensor to be popping in there. It's Wi-Fi, as you probably saw here, so it's got iOS and an Android app. It can be used with a PC and a Mac, which is always good. There's always a lot of people moaning about Blackview and its limited functionality on the Mac, and I'm going to be doing the software review on that on my Mac later on. Thermal protection mode. So this is when the camera itself gets too hot, or it's parked inside in a really hot space. If you've got it on battery protection mode, it will shut itself down to prevent it get overheating. I don't know if people remember the Blackview DR400, but that was the real sort of first game changer in terms of dash cams, and they used to get really hot and the lens used to go really foggy and all that sort of stuff. Super capacitor technology. So this is when, if you have an accident or the camera is going to fail, it will slowly shut itself down to prevent that last file from getting corrupted, and it will allow it to save to memory. So let's get it open. I've only quickly opened this before, I haven't taken anything out. So let's have a look. So here's the main camera. It's quite a big unit, but when it's attached to the screen, it's really close to the screen, and I think it works really well. And you spin this bit here to get that right angle, and I think from the app you can actually make sure that this is lined up, so that's pretty cool. We'll go over some of these buttons in a minute. Let's get this down here. tray. Free candy. No, it's actually silica gel. We've got our screen mount sticky pad. A micro SD USB card dongle. Our power cable. Just a standard 12 volt in your cigarette jobby with a power adapter there. This is the plate that sticks to your windshield or front windscreen so that it can easily slide in using this system here. There you go. Normal sort of sticky pads if you want to keep the installation nice and tidy, but if you're hardwiring it behind the scenes, you probably won't need to use them. And 32GB memory card, micro SD. It's a Thinkware branded one, so hopefully the quality is good, and also an SD card adapter. This is the rear camera. So it is really quite small. Looks good. Hopefully it won't have any annoying little lights going on in there. So let's put that out there. This is our front to rear AV cable. Now, the biggest difference between this and a lot of other cameras is that rather than using that stupid little pin with the thin metal core in it, it's actually using what I think is a micro USB cable. I don't know if you can see that. So that means that pulling it in and out isn't going to be a real task, because you don't want to make you didn't want to make sure that you bent that cable on the older cameras and other cameras out there. The only difference is it's going to be a bit bulkier when you're plugging it in, and if you really want a nice neat install, then it's gonna be a little bit different, but it looks a good quality cable. Hopefully we won't get any problems with digital radio, and I'll be able to try that out in my car as well. And here is the last bit. So, installation location of dash cams in the UK. This is basically saying where you can and you can't have dash cams. I've seen this image before. It came off a blog. I'm not sure of the address, but they've obviously copied that, and just so that people in the UK are fully aware of what the legislation is. Quick start guide. Nobody ever reads this. This one is massive, and as you can see, it's quite in depth. So let's have a look. So we've got your installation guide, installation guide, installation guide, some more installation, and there we go. And then this is where you get into the apps and how you get into the password from 1 to 9, and then how the PC viewer works with the Windows and the Mac. Basic operations, and shows you what it does, how all the different features work, how to initialize it. And this is just a different language on the rear. So, and also we've got our little warranty tab. The camera itself has got a year's warranty, and with most other dash cams, the micro SD card is 6 months because of its continuous use. They always say to make sure you format it every month to make sure you don't get any issues or anything like that. So, let's have a look at the camera and pull off this. So, it's actually a really nice camera. It looks quite big, but I've actually had the F550 in my car for a while, just bench testing it, and I've actually been pleasantly surprised with it. You can't see it. It's pretty hidden away. You've got your Wi-Fi logo here. You've got GPS there, so when it gets its locks. Power button, you can actually physically turn it on and off. Your Wi-Fi on and off, instant record, format, and also you can turn the microphones on and off at will, which is a lot easier. And like I said, you can spin the camera so that you get that best viewing angle. So if you imagine your windshield is going to be like that, it's going to grab on really close. You then move this to get the best angle. When you're using your app, it's going to allow you to see what you're actually recording. And here's our slots here. So that's the video in, there's your DC in, and there's the reset button. So, as I mentioned before, it's got a couple of cool features, which is the lane departure warning system, front collision warning system, and the safety camera. So here's my iPad, and I thought I'd just show you some of the features. Sorry, I have got a screen protector on it, so it might not be the easiest to see. So lane departure warning system alerts drivers when vehicles stray out of lane, alerts drivers too closely to the vehicle, head to collision. I'm going to install this, and I'm going to put a GoPro up so that we can see it beeping in action and see how well it works. Hopefully it should work quite well. So safety camera alert, I've already checked online, and it will allow you to download all the updates to the memory card. You plug it into the camera and away you go. So it's going to alert you to red light cameras, speed cameras, the red light and speed cameras that you normally find at traffic junctions, average speed cameras, and the mobile speed zone. So that's where there could be a van with a gun inside of it. And like I said, it can all be accessed online and downloaded, and there's different notifications which hopefully we might see when we're going over the camera itself. So let's have a look. So it's got an intelligent auto exposure. So this means when you're going through a tunnel and it's dark, and then when you come out of the tunnel it's going to be brilliant bright light, and the camera, some cameras do struggle with how they react to that, and you want to make sure that you've got the clearest footage where possible. With using its Sony CMOS sensor, you're going to get a really good focusing system. So hopefully, like on an iPhone, when you tap it, it's going to focus automatically, and it should mean that we shouldn't get fuzzy video. It's got a noise reduction system, so this is where you're looking on YouTube, and I know YouTube does compress video and it makes it a little bit blocky, but it doesn't help when the footage itself is blocky. And if you've used older dash cams or cheaper dash cams, you may have noticed that they are a bit blocky. And it can automatically change its color and its contrast to make sure that you've got the best footage possible. So that means you don't have to do any post-production editing and all this sort of stuff. So going into a bit more detail about the camera, it's got a 140-degree wide angle view lens. So that means that you're almost getting from pillar to pillar depending on the width of your car. It's got one of the new Ambarella A7 chips, which is what the GoPro 3 is used. And if you've seen the Mini 08, 06s, it's got one of them. So it really needs this to be able to get the dual video HD, full HD into the camera, and I imagine it's somewhere behind the control panel here. And it's also, as you probably noticed, it's got GPS so that you can use Google Maps and on the app, and you can see what's actually going on. So, like I said, it's got dual save technology, which means that even though you've got your SD cards plugged in up here, it's going to be recording to that. And it's also going to be recording into its internal memory, so that if you have an accident or the camera or the card gets damaged, you've got that double level of protection. So, I don't think there's any other camera out in the market, unless you've got like a full-on DVR system that you find in commercial vehicles, doesn't have this feature. I think it's going to be pretty awesome. So the dual save technology is actually activated when the car picks up an impact. So that accelerometer is going to be activating that dual save tech. So it, depending on your sensitivity settings in the app and all that sort of stuff, when it's going to activate. As I mentioned, it's got an app, and what we'll do is we will pair this up. And whilst I'm talking, I'm going to download it and see what it looks like. We won't be able to pair it up just yet because I haven't got any power going on. I might stop the video in a sec and just power it on and just see what we can see. So we'll sort that out in a sec. Like I said, it's got a PC and a map viewer, which are pretty good. It's got your normal continuous, incident, parking, and manual recording modes that you've come to expect in quite a few dash cams. So there's nothing really new going on there. Recording time. If you're recording at full HD on both the front and the rear camera at 30 frames per second, they're saying that on a 16GB card, you're going to get 62 minutes. On a 32GB card, you're going to get 124 minutes. And on a 64GB card, you're going to get 248 minutes. Now, if you change around those settings, that's obviously going to make the recording times last a little bit longer. And like I said, on the box it shows all the awards that they've won. The CES is really impressive. To get one of those awards in the Vegas Consumer Electronics Show is a really big winner. And I don't think there's any other dash cam out there that has that sort of accreditation or certification. So that's a real big winner in my eyes. Now, because of this special mount and how close it is to the windscreen, like I said, if you've got it here and it's there, it means that as the car's moving, it's going to be moving with it rather than a mount and it moving independently on its own. I think that's going to be a real winner, so that you're not getting vibration, it's not going to change around and all that sort of stuff. So camera, as I said, is a CMOS sensor. It's 2.19 megapixels. The memory inside is either 16, 32 or 64 gigabytes, and you can use a UHS-1 SD, micro SD on that. And it's got 512 megabytes of flash memory inside. And it's got its normal sort of LEDs. It's also got an LED along here, which we'll be able to boot up later and see what's going on. And so all that's really left now is to just power it up, see what we can see with the app, and get some footage. I'm going to do the footage in a different video, so you don't have to watch a whole massive long video, and you'll see the video card coming up at several points through the video, probably along the bottom somewhere or up here. And also, if you wait to the end of the video, you'll be able to view all the different videos that I've got, so night, day, extreme rain if we get it. Okay, so I've got the power cable connected up. I've got my camera, and I'm just going to get our micro SD card out. Let's plug it in. I just want to be able to show you the app and so show you all some of the settings. Haven't tried this yet, so this is new on me as it is you. Let's power it up. The power pack is on, and as we can see, we've got some LEDs. So it's going to be initializing the micro SD card as it's its first time in. So whilst it's doing that, it's going to give us some voice prompts. I know because, like I said, I've had the F550.
Recording will now start.
So look at that. It's initialized the card and it's already good to go. So let's push the Wi-Fi button.
Wi-Fi enabled.
So it's trying to get a GPS lock. I'm inside, so it's going to be flashing for a while, and the Wi-Fi should hopefully ping up. So let's do that. So that's connected now. So like I said before, I've downloaded the app already, which is, it looks like there, and this is on my iPhone 6 Plus device, so we should get a nice big picture. Also you've got to remember, you've got to connect to Wi-Fi, so let's do that first. Let's go to settings, Wi-Fi, turn on. It's going to try and connect to my network, so let's click that one quickly. And remember, the password was 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. Join. So it's joining it. We can see it spinning around there, and it's connected. So we're connected up. We've still got our 3G access, which is good. Lots of apps. DashCam.
Connected to a smartphone. Recording stops.
So functions restricted. Launching mobile viewer app will restrict recording and ADS feature. Okay. That's not a big deal in my opinion, because you're not going to be using the camera whilst you're driving. Well, you're not going to be using the app whilst you're driving, so it's no biggie in my mind. Let's go to live view. Just thinking about it. And spin it around. Okay, so here we are. And we can spin it around. And there's me recording. Okay, so as you probably know anyway, we're going to get different footage, and it's going to be looking slightly different when it's in on the Wi-Fi mode. So let's just ping that across so we've got something nice to look at. So we've got some guidelines here. A line blue line with center of the hood, and a line green line with the front edge of the hood. Now, I know that they're going to be changing this to be able to turn these lines on and off. I think it's a really good indication of how they want you to have the camera lined up. And you can change around with the settings, and you can see what's going on down here, time, date, etc. So let's just ping out of this and move it across. So we've got our file list. So incident continuous, probably won't have any files in here at the moment just yet. That's just continuous recording. Motion detection, incident parking, and manual recording. So manual recording is where you push this button here, record, like you would on a black view. So let's go into the settings, memory card settings, memory partition. Always good to be able to partition your memory drive, and you can see how it's taking up, or how you want it to be partitioned. So all the different percentages, etc., etc. I'd probably just keep them all the same as it is at the moment. So let's back out of here. Video overwrite settings, so you can tell it which ones to overwrite and not overwrite. That's a really good facility in my personal opinion. So let's come out of here. Dual save settings, dual save videos. So this is where you can see what dual save videos it's had from when it's moved. You can copy to the memory card, and you can also delete the dual save as well. Okay, so dash cam settings, camera settings, brightness front, brightness rear, and wide dynamic range. It's going to be one of those ones where you test it out, see what you think, and you go from there. Let's back out. Record settings, so sensitivity, parking mode. If you're going to be powering this up to directly onto your power lines, then you can turn the parking mode on and off. And rather than like the black views where you've got the power magic device, this has actually got it built in, which is pretty cool. If you turn this on, you then get your parking sensitivity, your motion detection, how long it's going to last, when it cuts off on the 12 volt, and when it's going to cut off on the 24. I think to be able to control elements like this is a big winner in my eyes. That's where the black views really fell down, in my opinion, is that the power sides and how it hooked up, you needed to buy a separate device. You had very little control over it, and it was uber sensitive. So it's good that we can change all of this. So setup change means save. Road safety settings, so safety camera alert. We can change the vehicle type to a sedan, SUV, truck, bus. I imagine it's going to change the speed limits and all that sort of stuff for you. Lane departure warning, how sensitive it is, and what speed, and the forward collision warning. I'm going to hopefully try these out when I've got the GoPro hooked up to it. So that's back out. And system settings, language English, volume, security LED, time zone, daylight saving, and speed unit. Let's just quickly see. Let's have a look. Mode 1. So that's that. Let's see if it does it. Or mode 2, blink. I kind of like mode 1. It's that sort of Knight Rider look. I probably wouldn't have the LEDs running. Oh, there we go. That's pretty cool. I like that. I like anything where you can change the lights. And so let's just change it to mode 2. Back out, back out. And it's just, so that's pretty bright in my opinion. So let's just change it to the Knight Rider mode. Back out, back out. That's cool. I really like that. So let's pop out again. Let's see whatever we've got in here. Wi-Fi settings, so we can change what it looks like, the password. I'd probably change this to one of your own passwords just for safety. App info, so we're on version 1.03 at the moment. Device info, name, firmware, and a load of other stuff we're not really that interested in. And GPS info. So because we are connected at the moment, which is good, and we can see what we're seeing. You can reset it, but you're never really going to need to do that. So that's the app. All that's left to do now is to whip it in the car, see how we get on, record, get some footage. Like I said, I'm going to do the footages in a different video so it doesn't make this one too long. I'm going to do night, day, and hopefully if we get some rain, which we probably will do in the UK, we'll get that sorted as well. Okay, so we've rigged up the GoPro with a microphone so we can hear what's going to happen with the speed camera alerts. Now, as you're driving up, it's going to give you 2 stages of alert, one just to notify you and then one when you're a bit closer. I didn't capture the first part, but you'll definitely hear the second bit, and it sounds quite similar. Ignore that, that's my sat nav. There's our front and rear footage just about to show us what we're doing, and it's going to be coming up in a minute.
Speed camera ahead. Speed limit is 30 miles per hour.
So there you go, speed limit is 30 miles an hour. That will change depending on where you are, obviously, and what speed cameras are coming up, and you probably saw the gas on the left. This beeping noise is the front collision warning system. As I'm getting very close to the car in front, it's beeping and warning me that something's coming up. And then the lane departure warning system. So the camera, if you saw on the app, has the green and the blue lines for when you're lining up, and this is how it works. So there's me crossing over from the slip road onto the main carriageway, beeped at me. It's also telling me that it's a mobile speed camera zone, which it definitely is on this particular road in Dorset. So once this truck's moved out of the way, and you watch my shadow on the road as I move quite close to the lane to the right hand side. That was another mobile. There you go. And I've moved away. It beeped because it noticed I was getting close to it, and I'm going to do it again in a second. There you go. So it's picking it up. Awesome.